Okay, so hi everyone, Senan on this side, and in this video we are going to see this path sum part 2. Okay, so I just solved the path sum part 1. Be sure to watch that before you come to this one, because I won't be going to that depth of the explanation of what is actually required, but we will discuss only the things that is required to solve this problem, right? So given the root of the binary tree and an integer target sum, return root to leaf paths where the sum of the nodes value in the path equals target sum. Each path should be returned as a list of the node values and not node reference. Root to leaf path is a path starting from the root and ending at any leaf node. A leaf is a node with no children. Okay, we are good with this. Okay, you understand what is root to leaf path. In this case, the target sum is 22, so 5 plus 4 plus 11 plus 2 is an answer. 5 plus 8 plus 4 plus 5 is an answer, right? And just so you know, if there is a solution, all the answers in this would always start from the 5. Always start with 5 basically, right? And for this I would again be using recursion, and do that I would use a helper function. Let's define this in the private part of the solution, and I would say this function won't actually be returning anything, right? Because we'll see. And let's call this the helper function, or let's say, let's use a better name, get, or let's say add root leaf path, or add root to leaf path, let's call this. And what this would take as an argument: first, the node. Obviously we need a node where we are starting from, and let's call this at root. Also we would require integer target, right? And now we would be requiring two more things, right? And those two more things are the most important things to solve this problem. I'll also carry a vector int, and let's say current list or current solution, and vector of vector int answer. And we would pass this answer by reference but not the current solution, right? And this is because we need to search all possible cases, right? So we have to travel each and every node of the root. Okay, so what would we be doing? So first of all, I would initialize the main function. So in this we would need a vector of vector int, and that would be our answer basically. And in the end I would just return this answer. Okay, anyways, I'm solving this question for the very first time anyways. Okay, now what I would do is, let's declare a vector of int, which is, let's say, temp, or maybe temporary answer, that would be helping us to store our answer in our answer array. And what I would do is, since this is a void type, I would just call add root to leaf path, pass the root, pass target sum, pass temp, which is the current solution, and pass the answer array. And this would work. Now what we have to do, if let's say using the same logic in the path sum 1 question, we are almost doing everything the same thing. The only thing would be, in the different thing would be when we are adding our answer to the vector, right? So if root is equal to null, I just say return, because there is nothing if I can do. Now if we are, let's say, root dot left is equal to null and root right is equal to null, that means we are at a leaf. We are at a leaf node. Fine. Now if we are at a leaf node, I need to check if target, right, target is equal to root val, last time we returned true in path sum1. If that is the case, I would say that answer dot push back, that means I'm giving the solution, current solution, as the one of the possible answers in this answer array. Okay, we need to do one more thing before. If root is null, we don't do anything, and in this we say current solution dot push back, and we push back what? The current root's value, right? Okay, now say int let's say new target would be what? New target would be the current target that I have minus root dash val. Fine. And now I would call the same function on both the child nodes. So rather than writing this again, Control C and Control V, and the root is root dot left, then I would give it new target, then current solution, then our answer array. Similarly for the right node as well, and this is the answer basically. So if root is null, we return because there is nothing to check. If current solution, if nothing, if just we add the current value in this vector current solution, then what we do is we check if the current root left is null and right is null. That means we are at a leaf node. If that is the case, if target is equal to root val, that means we have actually found a solution. We discussed this logic in our previous video. Anyways, if that is true, that we have found a valid answer, right? So what I do is I take the current solution that I had built up till now and I add that to the answer array, and then I say new target is equal to target minus root dot val, and then I call the same function on the left child and the right child, and I hope this works. Let's just run this and see if we have made some error or not. Okay, so this is accepted. Let's check all the test cases. I feel like this should work, and let's just submit this and check if we are actually getting all the answers or have I made a mistake. Okay, so it's accepted, right? So the question was straightforward. There was nothing much to think about. It's just that if you have solved the previous problem, this is just checking all the solutions, right? In the last one, we were able to prune out some tree if we had already found a solution. In this case, that is not the case. We are not pruning the tree, and so the time complexity is what? Time complexity is the number of nodes, since we are traversing every node. So that is the number of that is the time complexity basically. And the space complexity would say, let's say we are storing answers, so how many possible root to leaf path can be there, right? Since this is a tree, there is exactly one path, right? And let's say 5 to 2, 5 to 7, 5 to 13, 5 to 5, and 5 to 1. So in the worst possible case, all root to leaf path could have the same sum, and that could be our possible answer. In the worst case, we could have how many elements? We could have exactly what was I saying? We could have exactly number of leaf times elements in this answer, and the values that, so the maximum size of the list of elements would be the height of the tree times the number of leaf nodes, which is what, let's say it's a binary tree of height h, so 2 to the power h, right? 2 to the power h, let's h is the height, so how many in the worst case we would have 2 to the power h leaves approximately, and each would have the length of let's say, since height is h, 2 to the power h times h basically. And now h can be treated as log n, so n log n, so the space complexity would be, I think, n log n. I could be wrong, but I think that is the space complexity, n log n, because h is the height. So in the worst possible case, in a binary tree, we can have at most or around 2 to the power h nodes, right? In the let's say this is 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3. So let's say if height you consider as the edges, so 2 to the power h would be the number of elements in a particular list, max element in a particular list, and we have 2 to the power h nodes in the leaf nodes at the worst possible case. So 2 to the power h times h, that is the number of elements. So if h can be treated as log n, so this would be 2 to the power n log n, 2 to the power log n times log n. So 2 to the power log n can be written as n to the power log 2. Log 2 is 1. So n times log n is the space complexity in the worst case. And the time complexity is big O of n. So that was the video all about. I know I was a bit confused while explaining the space complexity because I was solving on the go. I did not think of this before, but anyways, hope you enjoyed this. If you found this helpful, be sure to share it with someone who you think might find this video useful, right? Anyways, that was the video, guys, and bye.